Well, the Sydney and Victoria-wide lockdowns could cost the economy as much as $10 billion. According to new modelling from KPMG, that's $220 million a day in Sydney and $150 million a day in Victoria. To discuss this, I'm joined by my Tuesday panel from Brisbane, former Queensland Premier Campbell Newman, and from Canberra, Labor MP Joel Fitzgibbon. Campbell, these are pretty horrific numbers, but here's the most critical detail. KPMG says that most of the cost of these lockdowns will be borne by the private sector, so not the public sector. And of course, if you haven't got the private sector paying taxes, it's not keeping afloat all the people who've got protected wages and are making the decision. So it's a double hit, isn't it?
It sure is, Peter, and 13 million Australians tonight are now under lockdown. It's a staggering figure. But I have been incensed throughout this pandemic over the last sort of 18 months that the public sector have continued to maintain total job security, have seen their wages go up, in some cases well in excess of inflation, while they continue, the leaders anyway, continue to mete out this sort of regime to the private sector. Look, the economy has been battered. They have to do a better job in government across the board. And if they keep doing this, they are going to crush the living hell out of businesses. And I say to small business, my final word is small business across Australia, indeed larger businesses, you need to stand up because what's happening is unfair, unconscionable, and it's time to actually really push back hard.
I mean, some would say, Joel, that Labor doesn't care if a small business are smashed because they don't vote for Labor anyway. But I think this is where people are the angriest, the fact that everybody making the decision, they've all had pay increases by and large. I mean, Daniel Andrews had $11,000 the other day, $452,000 in Queensland, the Chief Medical Officer. She's on $622,000 as a package. Not the ordinary person trying to run a business.
I'll smash, Peter, anyone in the Labor Party that just writes off the small business community as a group that doesn't vote for the Labor Party. Of course, they are willing to if we give them the opportunity. And a lot of those tradies, of course, in blue collar, have a background and an attachment to the Labor Party. We should never give up on them. And we do need to be thinking about them right now. None of us would have believed last year in the heart of the pandemic that we'd be back doing this again this year. We're doing it, Peter, because we didn't get the vaccination out quickly enough. We didn't do the quarantine properly. But the best form of lockdown is one which is comprehensive and one which is quick. And that's where we've gone wrong here. This thing is now dragging out. It's infected half of our population. We must compensate the private sector for the losses. The government will get their money back in the long run if they get the economy back up and running more quickly.
By that, when you're saying it's got to be quick and short, you must be implying a criticism there of Daniel Andrews. You weren't as explicit as I would like, but listen to this, what's happening down in Victoria. Campbell, I'll go to you on this one. It's a whole farce. Small businesses, they've set up this Victoria Business Hotline in Melbourne, but businesses, when they ring up, they're told you're going to have to wait 17 hours to get the call returned. Let's have a listen.
The state government is saying, oh, the commercial businesses, building businesses can keep going. Okay. But when it comes to small renovators, we can't. We've been cut out because the homes are owner-occupied.
Have you tried to ring the hotline?
Oh, yeah, I tried to ring them on late Saturday afternoon. The wait time was 1 day and 4 hours.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was Saturday afternoon, 4 o'clock. The wait time was 1 day and 4 hours. We can't get anywhere. The local minister, who is Liberal, we sit in the Liberal area, she won't answer us. The small business minister won't answer us. So it's like you keep hitting your head against a brick wall.
Many of these people will never recover, Campbell.
Oh, look, absolutely, Peter. And, I'm in, the private sector myself, dealing with tenants in shopping centres and the like, and we saw them go through significant pain last year and they had to be supported. We've been lucky in Queensland, but, it's not good enough that government, with all those numbers, with people being paid handsomely, with no job losses, pay increases, can't get the fundamentals right 18 months into a pandemic. And I'm not just pointing the finger at the Andrews government. The federal government hasn't been good on a whole range of things as well. I, for example, was on the federal government's helpline the other day to do with getting my Medicare card attached to my MyGov 2 hours. Well, to be precise, 1 hour and 50 minutes. It's not good enough. we're not being well served by politicians or the bureaucrats who are paid mega dollars. The least they could do in this pandemic is get their damn act together.
Well, I tell you what, they're all working from home. They've all got their jobs. They should be picking up the phone. It shouldn't be this hard. I just can't believe it is this hard to get service when people are literally on their knees.